they already know the name.
Yeah.
Like they already know what the brand is because they've seen it everywhere.
Central Park
Penthouse
Tower.
of Central Park Tower.
Central Park Tower.
The penthouse in Central Park Tower is now the highest residence
For this apartment, Ryan Serhant.
Ryan Serhant.
Dang realtors. Hey dude, you can't put that there. My house isn't for sale. You gotta get out of here, seriously.
So I had dinner in the $250 million condo.
That's crazy.
131st floor. It's so high you can't even hear the sirens or horns
No
or
way.
anything. It's sick. You can pretty much see the curvature of the earth from there. It's wild. It's a trophy property. It's going to be a billionaire that buys it just to say that they have the tallest condo in the world. It's just, it really does change the game as far as the brand recognition.
Welcome to Green Beans Go. This is going to be an amazing episode we have with Christiann Prakas. Christiann Prakas has opened the Sirhan brokerage down here in Florida with plans to expand all over Florida, and really just an amazing man, right? He's done over $1 billion in career sales, and it's just exciting to have him here. So Christiann, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So the question that's on everybody's mind is, how did you and Ryan connect?
So this goes deep. I might cry. No, I'm not going to cry.
Okay.
So September 2021, I was working with a developer. I did $50 million in land deals with this guy.
Yeah.
And I was working with a couple developers at the time. I'd really gotten into land sales and doing new dev projects. So I'm working with a couple developers, one in particular. We had been working together for about a year and a half, put together a whole team, construction, insurance, title, doing the whole thing, working hand in hand, flying back and forth to where his offices were based out of state, using my office as kind of the HQ for everything.
Yeah.
And got a phone call after we're supposed to list like $200 million in property.
Yeah.
And get a phone call that you're not going to like this, but I'm taking away all the listings and I'm giving them to another brokerage. And it was like 7:30 in the morning on like a weekday.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd ever cried in business ever. And I was just like gutted because I worked a year and a half on this project. I was building a team around these projects. Right. I lost an agent because of losing the projects.
Yeah.
And it was like devastating. Worst week of my life as far as business is concerned.
Yeah.
So I just thought to myself, I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, how do I never let this happen again? Like I can't ever lose these deals again. And he kept telling me, no, the biggest problem is the lack of brand. You don't have a big enough luxury presence and you don't have a strong enough sales team.
Yeah.
And so the two pain points in my business, which I already knew, were recruiting top agents and brand recognition. Yeah. So I'm losing out deals to Douglas Elliman and Corcoran and Engel and Volkers, and Premier State Properties. So, the big players in town, and all the franchises are already here, right? Like, couldn't get a Douglas Elliman. I can't get a Corcoran. They're here. They're already here. So, and I was just thinking of brands that weren't down here that kind of had the same mindset I did, and I was like, kind of like a light bulb moment. I'm like, what? Ryan Serhant just opened a brokerage in New York. He went on his own, middle of COVID, and let me just reach out. So I sent a form submission in through their website, not even an email to him, nothing. So I get an email back from him 3 hours later. It was September 21st, 2021. I just, very simple. Hi, my name's Christiann Prakas. I own a small boutique brokerage in South Florida. If you're ever looking to expand into South Florida, I'd love to talk to you about it. And he emailed me back. We kind of just got up and running in New York. At some point, we probably will come to South Florida. Let's keep in touch. So I kept emailing him, like very persistent, and consistently emailing him, probably like once a month, once every couple weeks, whenever I felt like I wasn't being too annoying, but still like letting him know, like, hey, I want to bring your brand down here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Kind of trying to show him my value too. Like I have a really good reputation in town. I would be able to use this brand, your brand, to recruit the right people and get the big deals. Then I kept sending him deals. So sending him, hey, like I have these development properties. Do you have developers for them? So we started working on some development deals together. He'd send me some developers. I'd send him land, etc. And then I got involved in the Sell It Like Sirhan education programs.
Yeah.
Really, I was the guy, like if you would have asked me if I'm ever going to do real estate coaching, I'd tell you you're fucking crazy. Can I curse on this podcast?
Whatever you want to do.
I would tell you like you're crazy. Like I'm never going to do coaching the whole nine. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I've been in the business for 16 years.
Yeah.
I don't need a real estate coach. And I really enjoyed it. And it helped me a lot. It helped me grow my business a lot, helped me recruit a lot better. So I got to know Ryan more. I got to know his staff.
Yeah.
I did in person, like his masterminds
Yeah.
in New York. I went to 2 of them. We had dinner together in a $250 million condo of his with a bunch of agents, and being around like that level of people, of agents, of staff, of just
excellence.
Yeah, it was a game changer. Like now you're having high level conversations with people that do $200 million a year plus, $100 million a year, $80 million, whatever it is. And different markets are different. I got to become really good friends with one of the biggest producing agents in Nashville and one of the biggest producers in San Antonio, biggest producers in Arizona, big producers in New York City. And I just kept pushing the ball forward with Ryan. And I was like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this.
Wow.
And in November, we met and we couldn't come to an agreement. Just what his idea and my ideas were just different on how we wanted to structure things. Couldn't make it work. But I just like kept pushing. He hired somebody for Florida, Yasser Ponce. He was with Compass before. He hired him as like the director of Florida.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Ryan and I was like, hey, can I call Yasser? I just want to talk to him and pick his brain, but I don't want to go around your back. Like, I want to know if I can call him. Ryan's like, yeah, call him. Let's, talk to him, whatever.
Yeah.
Start talking to Yasser. He's like, all right, we can do this. Let's structure it, XYZ way. And we made it happen. We were kind of running before we could walk. Like we were just trying to fill in the gaps as we went, but it's been awesome. It opened doors that I couldn't have opened for myself. For a long time, I just wanted to have my own brokerage, my own name on the door. I never was excited to like have somebody else's brand. I wanted to build my own brand. I wanted to have my own company because I had done that for so long. And my father has a commercial real estate company. It's his last name. And I just thought, I wanted the same thing. But I came to a realization that without joining somebody that had a huge presence and a huge brand, if I ever got there, it was going to take me a long, long time. Why not like put the ego aside and I could help build something bigger than myself by aligning with the right people. Yeah. And it wasn't just that Serhant was like the only thing I could bring down here. It was the only thing that made sense. And we had the same, like his brand and me, we had the same like idea of how the business should be. Social media, content to commerce, produce, like putting out high quality production on Instagram, on Facebook, just social media in general, and a team mentality. Like you were in here today in the office. Everyone's here working together. Everyone's here. It's just fun. It's like, it's exciting. It's fun. It's energetic. It's a team, right? Like I've told everyone, I want everyone to come in here every day and be able to talk about their deals and their clients. And that's how like people get the wheels turning, right? Yeah. Like I might have a problem, a solution to your problem, but if we never talked about it in the office, we'll never know. Like I want you as an agent to be able to talk to the other agents in the office and figure out like how you guys can do more business separately, together, whatever. But when you have that like cohesive mindset, like a team mindset, that it just makes life so much easier. And you don't feel like if I ever found out that anyone stole somebody else's client or listing or whatever, like they're gone. Like I want that trust within the office with the agents themselves too, so that they don't feel like they ever have to hide something. Like they don't have to protect a client or a listing and like hold it back and not tell anyone about it because they don't have a listing agreement yet. Or like I don't want anyone to feel like their buyer's ever going to get stolen or their seller's ever going to get stolen. So just creating like the right people, the right team all together, just so it's just, it's like coming to work with friends. There's so many offices out there that there's like animosity and, they're like competing against each other. Yeah. When there's enough to go around, like not everyone's personalities fit. Like you can't have all the business. No. Like this guy might not want to work with you. This woman might not want to work with you, but there's somebody else in the office they can work with.
Yeah.
We just had it happen. One of our agents has been cold calling like this really high end area, gets a listing appointment on a $7 million house. It wasn't a right fit. Like the guy actually told this agent, I don't think we're a good fit. But what we did is there's another agent in the office that is the right fit. So we brought that person in, and that's how you get a deal done. And now they're both going to, they're going to have to split that. But instead of getting 100% of nothing, they're each going to get 50% of a $7 million sale.
Yeah.
So you have to check those egos sometimes. And you have to put that stuff aside to get deals done and do the right thing for the client. You have to really work together.
I hear you. And I think it's really cool that you were able to put your ego aside. You mentioned your father had his own commercial real estate business. It's his name on it. And really, there really is no other brand like Sirhan. I mean, I'm being really honest. I mean, you have amazing brokerages. You have people coming from all parts of the country, but Sirhan is the biggest, with 6 million followers on social media.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, obviously now you guys are doing business together. You guys know each other. You guys have shared meals together. Business is happening. But what was it like transitioning out of going from essentially speaking to a celebrity to speaking to a business partner?
So that first couple times when I spoke to him, it's definitely like a little nerve wracking, right? It's somebody that I've looked up to in business. It's somebody that's been on TV and he's constantly in the media. You see his face everywhere, right? So I was never one to really get starstruck, but there was a nervousness there, like making sure that that you kind of like prove that you should be there too, right?
Yeah.
Like not fake it till you make it, but that you should be in that conversation. So definitely some nerves the first few times. But now it's like every time we talk, it's like talking with a friend. It's like talking with a partner. It's great. He's so down to earth. He's so genuine. He's very authentic. And like, that's what the best thing about it was. I didn't just do it because it was Serhant. Like if he was an asshole, I wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
And I wouldn't have brought his brand down here and I wouldn't have recruited agents under it.
Yeah.
He's cares about the business so much and he cares about the agents. Like it's really agent-centric. There's a massive staff in place that everyone has access to, and the accessibility to Ryan, not me, my agents, they all have his cell phone number. They all have, his direct email. Like if they need something, he's there. He's very involved. So that's been really cool to see, like throughout the process, how involved he really is. And really is like a CEO, like directly to the agents.
Wow. I mean, the ambition is amazing. Like to see what they've started in New York, really starting from the ground up, building it, getting that amazing office space. And it's probably been exciting for you guys to, get to be a part of that, because you're not just building something down here, you're joining something that's been, really built really well over the last few years. What's it like going to New York City with the team? So
that was an awesome trip. Like that was so much fun. There was 14 of us that went, and it was pretty much everyone. A couple people couldn't make it. I was so happy that everyone wanted to go and everyone made the trip, because it's expensive, right? Like this is a business where everyone pays their own way. Yeah. And everyone paid for their own flights, and they paid for their own hotels and their food, and beverage, the whole thing. Like it's an expense. But I'm really glad that everyone did it, because they got to really feel like the atmosphere. They get a feel for the vibe. They get a feel for the company as a whole, the culture, right? Like they get a real feel for the culture being in the headquarters, and being with all the staff and being with all the New York agents. The sales huddle is what it's called. It's a quarterly meeting. Yeah. This one was like epic. It was crazy. It was nuts. Like, I got the honor of like speaking at the meeting. Yeah. Because the expansion offices got to speak in front of everyone. So there was probably 300 people there. Yeah. And the New York office is sick. I mean, it's over the top. It's amazing. But it was cool just to have my team there and everyone that we're working with here combined with the staff and everyone in New York. There was referrals flying around. Everyone got to meet everyone. Yeah. Like you can do a million Zooms. Yeah. You don't get a feel for that person's real personality in a Zoom.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, everyone started doing it because of COVID, but like, if I can meet with somebody face to face, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
If they're low, even if I have to, if it's a big enough thing, right? If
Yeah.
we're working on,
Take a flight.
I'll go to New York. I'll go to Philadelphia. I'll go wherever.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that camaraderie through Zoom. Like, you don't get to go have dinner and drinks with the person afterwards. So it's nice to go up there and do that with everyone.
To make it happen.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned earlier is you see, even in the beginning of the show, you said the brand was so important and that you were struggling to get your brand to where you wanted to go. And you were able to say, hey, I'm going to join it, right? I'm going to join this. And it's been amazing, right? We've been in real estate for about a year doing the media for all sorts of brokerages, all sorts of realtors. But when you guys came to town, right? I wasn't there, but when you guys came to town, it was the talk of the week. It was like Christian Prakas. It's in Delray. So what was that like? And what was that for? That little party you guys had?
So March 9th, we had a kind of just like it was a recruiting event in essence, right?
Fair enough.
But we didn't pitch it that way. And it's not because we were trying to hide anything. And I'm an open book. I'm like 100% transparent with everyone I talk to a fault. And I wanted to get all of not all, but as many as I could, top producers in Southern Palm Beach County in the same room together. I just wanted to get everyone just faces to names, right? Ryan gets to put, he knows these names and he's researched these people.
Sure.
And him and I have talked about these people.
Yeah.
And we wanted to see who's the right fit for the brokerage too. And we had people that we set up meetings with that weren't the right fit. They do a lot of business, but they don't fit the culture. For one reason or another, it's just not right. So we want to get that feel for everyone. We want to have that similar, like, cohesive team spirit. And the event, we had about 40 top producing realtors there from every big brokerage and some, big brokers from local brokerages too, but big names. Yeah. And it was really cool because I've been in the business now this is my 18th year.
Yeah.
So 18 years of
Congrats.
Thanks. It's like it doesn't feel that long, but it does feel that long at the same time. It's like, it's a grind every day.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to be able to put all those big names in the same room.
That's very
and we're
rare.
all there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And I had one agent in particular that, like, I'll never forget this. He came up to me and he was like, I don't know how you got all these people in the same room. These people that, like, fight for the same deals and fight for the same, area.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get them all in the room together? And I think that was twofold. I think Ryan is a force within real estate. And everyone wants to hear what he has to say regardless.
No doubt.
And I had some agents say, like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to that. And I would just tell them, like, I don't want people to see me there. I don't want other agents to see me. I don't want my broker to find out. Like, what other chance are you going to get to have, like, a guy that does billions of dollars in real estate and building, like, a multi-billion-dollar real estate company in a room where you can talk to him one-on-one? Like, that's a very rare thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like Ryan's a down-to-earth guy and he doesn't see himself that way. But for you to pass up that opportunity, for me, was foolish. And like, there's a huge realtor in town that I knew he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
But he's been, like, kind of a mentor to me.
Sure.
I'll say his name because he's awesome. So Brian Bowles, powerhouse in Delray and Boca forever. Yeah. And just, just he's the definition of consistency when it comes to sales. And he told me, he's like, I am never going anywhere, but I would never pass up the opportunity to go talk to Ryan. If I learn one thing, like, why would I not go? Yeah. And there were some people there that were very hesitant to go that went. They loved it. Like, they had so much fun and they got to like really talk to their colleagues that they never really get to talk to because usually competing against them.
It's fierce out there.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And I've spent my entire career, like, I've always tried to do the right thing. Like, if it costs me money, if it costs me time, if it costs me whatever, like, just do the right thing by every single person, every single day. And at some point, it's going to sound so cliche, but
talk about it.
I opened a fortune cookie years ago.
Okay.
And it said, do the right thing and the money will come. Yeah. So, like, I live by that fortune cookie motto because if you do the right thing, like, the rest of it'll come. Like, it's not always about like how much money today.
Yeah.
It's really a relationship business, especially being a broker. So not only do you have to build relationships with clients, but you have to build relationships with the agents. And I always looked at it from that standpoint. So I was always nice to every agent. I always went to everyone's open houses. I always built those relationships because I didn't know what was going to happen one day.
Yeah.
But I know if I needed to call on an agent, they'd pick up my phone call because I always did the right thing, or I showed up at their events and I would just, go to coffee, go to lunch, whatever.
Yeah.
I always made it a point for years to take somebody out to lunch that does more business than me. Like just ask them about, and I wasn't trying to recruit them.
Yeah.
Just what do you do? Like, how did you break into this? How did you do it? What was your secret to success? And everyone's is different.
Yeah.
Like nobody does it the same way. Like there's no like thing I could tell you. You go plug in and you're
work.
instantly selling $100 million in real estate. It's just a different path for every single person.
Yeah.
Which is really cool and really frustrating about real estate because you could do a million masterminds and pay Tom Ferry and pay Mike Ferry and do Sell It Like Sirhan. You could do all of them.
Yeah.
And you just have to find what works for you. I still tell all my agents, like do 3 prospecting tools and do them consistently and do them very well and keep metrics, like track the data. Okay. If you send mailers, you send birthday cards and you do care calls, right? Like you call people just to check up, see what's going on, like see what works best and drop the one that doesn't work, add something else until you have these 3 things that run your entire business and base your prospecting around those 3 things.
Well, it's no secret, right? Of course, you've joined Sirhan, and that's been, an amazing, story, and it's unfolding right now. But you didn't come from nowhere. You've built a really amazing business and a pipeline, doing over $1 billion in sales. What about you? What are those 3 things that have worked well for you that have helped you just crush it in real estate?
I am a do as I say, not as I do type guy.
Yeah.
Mine has just been relationship based. It's my sphere. I have never really prospected other than people, like just building relationships. I send birthday cards. I reach out to people. I use the holidays as my prospecting. It's like Mother's Day. I'm on my phone for 3 or 4 hours in the morning, texting every single person in my phone that's a mom or mom to be. Yeah. But I try to personalize it, like because when I do it, I really I do it because I mean it. Yeah. And I don't just send like Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. It's like Happy Mother's Day. Like I know it, I just had, my wife and I just had our first kid 8 months ago. So it's like, now I know how hard that is.
Yeah, it's hard.
So it's like, I'm texting somebody like that has 3 kids. Like, hey, I never knew how hard this was. Like you have 3, I can't imagine it. Like I try to not just send out a mass blanket thing. Yeah. I never send out like mass Mother's Day emails or mass Christmas emails or Thanksgiving, whatever. Yeah. But that's really how I do all my business is just keeping up on relationships.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to do that well, to do it and to do it customized. It's, especially, we've only been doing it for a year. We've been doing it like really customized, super, special messages, but to be doing it for 18 years and just keep at it.
It's just time.
It's a grind. Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Time is obviously our most valuable asset.
Yeah.
But if you can, like on those holidays, I just get up early. Like I'm up instead of just like laying in bed and
taking the day off.
Yeah. And taking the day off. Like I spend that whole morning like doing those touch points. Yeah. And Thanksgiving, I always like send people a Thanksgiving note, but like why I'm grateful for them. Yeah. And this year, I don't know what it was, but I got probably 6 deals out of my Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice though, because when you're doing it, you're not I get into it. It's not like about the business at that point. It's like actually taking the time and like reflecting and being like, oh, wow, I am thankful for this person for this or that. And if something comes of it, great. Or, I have a conversation with somebody I haven't talked to in years. Like I had reconnected with somebody from middle school, So it's just, if business comes from it, great, but it's a good way to keep in touch and reconnect with everyone.
Nice. So just really valuing those relationships and cultivating them over time.
Yeah.
And And just, I got to know, right? Because when you came and you had that, you had that party, and all our clients were like, hey, we're going to see Sirhan. Everyone's all excited.
Yeah.
What has it been like after that, right? So you had the party and you're starting to build a team. You have this amazing office space. What's next?
So we have 17 agents right now, and I want to do, ideally, I'd have 30 to 35 agents per office. We're very selective on who we're bringing in.
Yeah.
Has to be like a full-time professional. They have to, they have to be the right fit for the company and the brokerage. They also have to do a certain amount of business. Now, we don't have a set number. It's like, oh, you only did 14 million, but our cut's 15 million.
Yeah.
It's just making sure that everyone here is the best they can be in doing business, because that fosters more business.
Yeah.
Like if everyone in this office is a top producer in the city and county, whatever, it's just more and more business that's going to flow into the office, because they're, the clients, the buyers, the sellers, the developers, they're going to see that, and they're going to be like, okay, Serhant is doing something. Like they have, XYZ agents there. Like they left these big brokerages and they did big business. Like what are they doing over there?
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's making a wave, right? Like you have to come in and you have to open the right way. And we've started with the right core group of agents.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch more coming on in June. It's when we can announce that, it's going to be
exciting.
It's going to be really epic. Big teams coming on. And so for the future, it's just doing that same thing. The right people, top producers, and we're going to open a bunch of offices. So next we're opening East Boca.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
East Boca.
Not
West.
Not West, not yet. Possibly at some point.
Yeah,
I've talked to a big team out west about opening an expansion office out west.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
But a great place to start is East Boca.
Yeah. So we're open here in Delray.
Yeah.
East Boca, Fort Lauderdale. And I'm looking at spaces right now. So downtown Fort Lauderdale, I want to be on Los Olas. I want to have a storefront.
Yeah.
I don't like being in an office building.
Yeah.
I like having frontage. I like having signage. I like having the branding where most people are going to see it.
Yeah.
Anyone can go rent a space in an office building and be on the 8th floor. Cool view. Got it. You have no signage. You have no exposure. Nobody knows you're there. No one cares. So, and then I'm going to do North County, like Palm Beach Gardens, Jupiter.
Nice.
So 4 offices. My goal is to open 4 offices in 12 to 18 months. Yeah. And then we'll take it from there. If we end up doing a Wellington office, if we end up doing, we'll take it day by day and see where the business is and see where the right agents are. And then we're going to open a Palm Beach office on the island.
Nice.
That's going to be like a Serhant house. Nice. So that's going to be Ryan. He's going to open a big office in Palm Beach and come into Palm Beach the right way.
That's crazy.
That's the kind of market we have to do it the right way. So we're not going to half-ass it. We're not going to go in there with just a couple agents.
Take your time.
We're going to take our time, find the right space, the right people. And when we go in there, it's going to have to be a big deal.
And I'm going to ask you a question that's a little bit challenging. And I'm here it is, right? So with Florida, with Palm Beach, you're thinking of names like Douglas Elliman, Compass, Corcoran, right? You have those hitters, right? The people who have agents who do huge business. So and I see this, right? And Ryan, he's talking about on social media. You're here. You're really bullish about the future of Serhant. Yeah. So why Serhant in Florida?
So it was a natural fit for Ryan's brand because all the business flows from New York, New Jersey, the Northeast, the majority of it. Yeah. So for him, it was a natural fit, but also it's expanding in the right places. Yeah. So the places where the brand works. It's places that are fresh, exciting, young, vibrant, like they get it. Yeah. So you couldn't go to Idaho.
Boise.
Really shake up. I guess you could. At some point that's probably going to happen. Yeah. But you got to go places with the exposure. Yeah. And you have to go places where it's exciting and sexy.
Who doesn't want to be in Florida?
Exactly. Everybody wants to be here. I'm born and raised here in Delray. So I've never wanted to go anywhere. So the fact that everyone wants to come here, I get it. But but it's a huge social media presence, right? Like
Yeah.
the brand is based around that content to commerce.
Yeah, love that.
So-
love that saying too.
Yeah, so I
good.
can't take credit for that. That's
Yeah.
that's Ryan's coined saying.
Yeah.
So people, it has to be in a market that gets that.
Yeah,
That that social is the way that it's going, video, and that's what is taught in the Salt Lake Serhant courses.
Yeah.
And that's, if you look at my content I don't put out enough. I'm not consistent with it.
but you're working at it.
Yeah, I'm working at it. But if you look at my content from November on,
Yeah.
then before November,
It's gotten so much
totally
better.
different, because
Yeah.
that's who I learned it from. I learned it from Ryan and his team.
Yeah,
And he brought in like the best of the best people to speak about it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things about Ryan is it's not all about him. It's bringing in the people that do it the best.
Yeah.
So I became really close with Glenda Baker.
Yeah.
We've had dinner together. She's awesome.
She's super cool.
Glenda, if you're watching this, love you.
Yeah.
She was like really instrumental in me like really picking up my content and
Yeah.
the video. I started a TikTok. I posted 2 videos on it. I'm working on it.
yeah. Glenda,
So
she's a powerhouse.
she is. She's awesome. And I got to meet Tyler Whitman, and he was also on $1 Million Listing.
Yeah.
We went to dinner. My wife and I went to dinner with him and hung out, and he picked his brain about his content and what he's doing, and just high level, just access to high level people, right? Like that's what everyone wants.
The network is crazy.
The
Sirhan.
network that Serhant provides
It's
is
crazy.
sick.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone on the staff
Yeah.
is the best. I have to shout out our CTO, Chief
on.
Technology Officer, Coin.
Yeah.
He is the man.
Yeah.
He is a super evil genius when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
He's helped set up all the tech stuff here, and
Yeah.
he's great. And a lot of these systems and processes and the technology we use, he's built out and helped build out. And it's really what sets apart Serhant from the other brokerages.
Yeah.
Is the following, the exposure, the staff, the
The
culture, the mindset,
Super forward.
the education.
Yeah.
I mean, the education program is free to the agents.
That's
So our
amazing.
agents don't have to pay for all these courses that people are paying,
Yeah.
a lot of money for outside of the company.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of value add.
That's really, yeah. Those courses are amazing too.
Yeah, they're great. I paid for them
too.
before.
Yeah,
So now that I get them for free, it's great.
Yeah, it's and I'm not just saying this because we're here together, but as we were driving here, I was saying Sirhan's, coming to Florida, kind of sharing my wife, what we're going to be going over today, who we're meeting, and I'm like, I believe in the future of Sirhan. And here's the thing, right? Sirhan really is a content to commerce business. I love that saying,
Yeah.
right? It truly, truly is, and it's so rare, right? Because you have people who are crushing it, right? Brokerages who are crushing it, who are well established. The name is out here. You think about Florida, you think about those big 3. You think about California, you think about those big 3. You think about New York City, you think about Sirhan.
Yeah.
But the advantage that I believe, and you had such a great answer, people want to come to Florida. It's a natural fit. But the advantage that Sirhan has is, of course, 6 million followers,
Yeah.
but also like the training and just the culture. You're talking a lot about the culture of content first, content awareness, content conscious, because we believe in the power of social media. Our business, blew up super fast because of social.
Yep.
And, we're helping different brokerages and different people, but people who really blow up their business fast or just get bigger. Maybe they're already big and they just get bigger are the people who truly lean in on content.
You have to go.
It's
all
amazing.
In. You
So,
have to go all in.
I think that Sirhan's going to definitely crush it out here, especially if everybody just stays on board with the content. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and I get it. It's hard to do. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money sometimes.
Takes money
right?
too, yeah.
It does, but you have to invest that time and you can do it without spending a lot of money.
No doubt.
There's a lot of agents out there that are just getting started or, don't have a huge marketing budget. And I get it. Like I was there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost anything to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And everyone gets hung up on the fact that it doesn't look great or they compare their stuff to other people's.
Yeah.
And you can't do that because like as you do it, it'll get better.
Yeah.
And there's tons of resources. I mean, YouTube, right? Like you can go on YouTube and learn how to use any editing app, software, whatever.
Yeah.
Like just CapCut, Video Leap. Like,
No doubt.
all
It
these
works.
things.
Yeah, it works.
It works, and you just have to put in the time. Like you could spend $0 on it
Yeah.
and do extremely well with it. It just takes time. But that's part of the business. And I tell everyone that, like, that's just part of the job description as a realtor.
you
now.
have, it's a
and
must.
if you're not doing it, you're a dinosaur and you're going to get left in the dust at some point.
Yeah.
And you might have business through your sphere and your referrals, etc. But that stuff starts to dry up, and the socials where all the new leads are coming from. And
So true.
yeah, and we preach it, we push it, and shove it down people's throat and hope they listen.
Hey, and that's why I believe that Serhant's, I mean, you guys have a great team of people, but I believe it's going to work out here because a lot of people, and you know, you've been in the business for 18 years.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. You know everybody else who's hitting, you know, hard. There's still a lot of agents who, you know, do 100 million a year, who do 50 million a year, who say, "Oh, I'm all network.
Yeah.
I'm all network. I don't need social media." So the fact that you're saying it and you've done it for 18 years, you're crushing it. You don't really need to. But you
There's some
do it.
anomalies, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Like you got Lawrence Mowens in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Like no one even has a picture of this guy.
I know. Yeah.
No one even knows what he looks like.
Yeah.
I did a deal with him one time.
Yeah.
And that's an anomaly.
Yeah, you
But
have the
for
anomalies.
most people, you have to put yourself out there,
No doubt.
and you have to be authentic. And I tell everyone, and you tell them, your clients, I'm sure too, like,
Sure.
don't put on an act.
Yeah.
Like, be yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting on an act, first of all, everyone sees right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that realtor that is a total cheese ball on Instagram because they think that's what people want to see.
No,
Like if you're not authentic, like just be yourself, and
Yeah.
that is what will work for you.
Yeah.
Because if you try to act like somebody else, like if I tried to act like Ryan on Instagram,
Yeah.
everyone would be like, this guy's like such a poser.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not going to use him. And
Yeah.
then when they meet you in person, they're going to be like, that's not the same guy that
Yeah.
I
It's
saw
super
on
discouraging.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important. We push it hard.
I'm amazed, you know, and the fact that it's in the DNA of Sirhan, the fact that you actually preach it and you're practicing it and you say, hey, from November I've gotten better and you're making progress. I just find that amazing because it's just so rare. And people they will usually point and be like, well, look at Mowens.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it. It's like that's gonna, you know, Mowens is, you know, $1 billion broker.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you need to work. You know, you got to do it. So I think it's amazing that you guys are just pushing it.
And you can't ever point to one guy or
Yeah.
one person. And Lawrence is a good example of that, but it's an anomaly. Do what works for you, but it has to. You got to be out there.
Yeah.
And I tell people the same thing. Like just because you're putting out content doesn't mean it's the right content. Like
Yeah.
you need to have your face in it. You
That's
need to have
amazing.
your voice in it.
Yeah.
Because that's what people connect with. And I tell people to use their personal channels. And Tyler Mount, we were talking about before,
Yeah,
he's
Tyler's
the
cool.
brand strategist for Sirhan.
Yeah.
Like he's big on don't make your Instagram handle like
Realtor.
not a realtor, because you're not just a realtor.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to be yourself. You
Yeah.
have to right? Like what's your hobby? Is it or
Yeah.
your family or whatever?
Yeah.
So you have to sprinkle that stuff in. You can't just
You
be
got it.
real estate all day long. You're not a
Yeah.
robot. Like you don't do real estate every day, all day. Like what else do you do? Like
Yeah.
you have a son or daughter.
You have a son, you have
Son.
a family, you know.
Yeah. So like I sprinkle that stuff in. It's like personal and business because that's what
For
people
sure.
connect with.
Yeah. You know, obviously, you know, we've talked a lot about today, Sirhan, but I mean, hey, that's, you know, you guys are building it out here. That, you know, personal branding online course, you know, it's online you can get it for like $9.97. There's deals here and there.
Yeah.
That's a great course, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of things you're talking about are from that course. And, you know, if somebody's listening and maybe they want to be a part of Sirhan or maybe they're, you know, wherever they are, that online course is how we built our business.
It's
right?
crazy.
And we took that course and we're like, wow, these principles are amazing. It's working for us.
Yeah.
Right. We're listening to Tyler. We're seeing Ryan. We're seeing, you know, we got the, you know, learning about the press. You know, we got connected with Luxury Home Magazine. Right.
Yeah.
So that's amazing because that course really does give you the blueprint. So if somebody's listening and maybe they're excited about Sirhan or maybe they're staying where they're at, or maybe they are in Boise, you know, or somewhere in the middle of nowhere, really using social media combined with that, you know, Ryan Serhant's personal branding course really is an amazing tool for realtors.
Yeah, and there's affordable courses
Yeah.
to do it on, you know, through the Sell Like Sirhan channels, and we don't turn anyone away in regards to like I've had so many agents reach out that don't necessarily they're not somebody we would bring on like today to start the business with.
Yeah.
Whether they're just so new in the business and need a ton of training, or they're not full time, or they don't do the sales volume that we'd really like to see. Like I don't hang up the phone on anyone. I don't tell them no, like you're not good enough. It's like, let us know how we can help you. Like, what's the pain point in your business? Like, what are you trying to get over? What do you need to get past? And like, I can help you with some tools to do that. Like I'll point them in the right direction as far as like what I think they should be doing, like which courses I think they should take. And then we keep that conversation going. And there's agents that we've brought on that aren't top producers in Del Rey or Boca or wherever it is, but I see the potential.
Yeah.
Like they've been in the business for a year or two. And I have one agent.
Talk about it.
Yeah, Eddie Sullivan.
Yeah.
He increased his business 430% last year. Like 430% in 12 months. I just looked up the numbers the other day.
Yeah.
Like, and he will tell you himself that was all through social. He put himself out there. He did a ton of business through social media. Like started doing reels, started posting on Instagram consistently.
Stories.
And so many people reached out to him, to buy, sell, whatever it was. And he's a hustler. He's crazy on the phones. But 420% increase in your business. Like if you do the things, you will see the return. You just have to do them.
I love it. And it's so refreshing to be, around a brokerage and around a broker, a leader who believes in social. It's our business. It's what we believe in. And it's just amazing to hear it because you still have people who are starting to try and you can acknowledge that. And it's like, wow, that's amazing to see you going after it. But, there are so many people that are still like stuck. Hey, we have our people, I do a lot of networking, but it's like social media is
nerve-wracking.
It's like a whole nother ballgame. I mean, we're working with a top producer in Jupiter who did over 100 million, in the past year. Yeah. He's consistently done huge business, and he's like, hey, I want to start an Instagram page.
Yep.
So it's amazing, right? To see even people who are doing that, like, hey, we made a video. Hey, it's me. We're doing our very first video. Welcome to the page. So
it's really important. And look, no one has a crystal ball what's going to happen in the market.
Yeah.
And people are worried and people are scared and they need to be putting out the right content. And it's just giving people facts, right? Like people love facts. They buy and sell and make decisions based on statistics and facts a lot of time when the market's not going the way they'd like. Yeah. They need to hear the data. So I'm like a data guy. I love putting out the data. Like yesterday I did a video on why inventory is so low.
Yeah, why?
Because 85% of homeowners, 85% of mortgage holders have an interest rate less than 5%.
Yeah.
So they're not selling
no
because
way.
they're not going to a 6.5% or 7% mortgage.
Yeah, for sure.
So but if you educate yourself on the reasons why things are happening, it makes it a lot easier. But I think this is going to be an interesting time because if the market does have a big downturn, who knows? It might go up, it might go down, it might stay plateau. If it did, we're going to see a huge changing of the guards. You're going to see a lot of these agents in their 50s, 60s, 70s that were big producers for 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to go through the next cycle. Like they're not going to want to do this all over again and go through a downturn and come back up on the upswing.
Okay.
They've made their money.
Yeah.
They're ready to retire.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for the right time. And they've been riding this massive wave that COVID, started.
Yeah.
And that we're still kind of surfing right now. And people are still moving here, 1,000 people a day to Florida. And at some point that'll slow down and it'll go back to normal. And a lot of those people aren't going to stay in the business. And now whether it's because they can't afford to stay in the business, there's two groups of people, right?
Sure,
there's people that do it part-time.
Yeah.
And there's people that really just don't do a good job at it.
Yeah.
And they're going to get pushed out and then, go back to doing whatever it was they did before or something else, whatever. And that's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, like I was talking about, the big top producers that are in the 50s, 60s, 70 years old, 80 years old, and they're not going to ride the next wave.
Yeah, they're millionaires.
They've made millions of dollars. They've made the right investments.
Yeah.
They have, a portfolio of rental properties or whatever the case is. Yeah. They're not going to go through the next cycle. So like now is the best time to push it. Yeah. Like if there was ever a time to push your own brand and push your own sales, now's the time. And I've always been like this, and it was refreshing to know that Serhant was like this. It's like, we want to help the agent build their brand, right? Like, I don't want you to be, Sally. I don't want Sally to be pushing Serhant or my old brokerage, right? Like,
Yeah.
I always paid a graphic designer to make all my agents their own logos.
Yeah.
Because I always told everyone, I want you here forever,
Yeah.
but you have to be your own brand.
Yeah.
Because if you ever leave the company you're with, whatever company you're with, that's your whole identity.
Yeah.
Was Compass or Douglas Elliman or Sirhan or Prakas, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make that your identity. Like, you have to have your own brand, your own identity. So if you ever do have to move or make a change, like, that follows you. And I think a lot of agents make that mistake. They don't build their own brand. They piggyback off of the company's brand, and that's something that we focus on really heavily, is pushing the agent's brand.
Yeah.
Like, we're not here to push Ryan. We're not here to push Serhant necessarily.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to grow the business, but we want the agents to create that, like, stellar content.
Yeah.
And all day I'm just sharing our
Just
agents'
build
content.
their name. Yeah, build their name.
Yeah, and they really appreciate it.
Yeah.
More eyes on their stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt and Nick.
Yeah. They're awesome.
They're awesome guys, and Devin and Yuri too came over with them, and Matt and Nick's social has blown up. Like, since they came here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they doubled their followers in like 30 or 45 days, just organically.
Yeah.
Just because of the eyes that have gotten on all their stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's a great way to leverage.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously Sirhan is an amazing, business and company to be a part of, but you're also saying how you're in it. They're also in it for themselves. Like, they can build their name, but the fact that they're associated with Sirhan, it really brings a lot of weight.
Yeah, and it helps with the name recognition. It's so funny sometimes, like, people get like googly eyed. They're like, "Oh my God, I've watched $1 Million Listing for 10 years," and it's like, great, and it just helps you get that recognition.
Yeah.
That and like legitimacy, right? Like, it helps you when you go in front of that client. They already know the name.
Yeah.
Like, they already know what the brand is because they've seen it everywhere.
Yeah.
It just changes everything when you go into a listing appointment. When the person's from New York. For us, it's so crazy because a lot of our clients are from New York.
Yeah.
I mean, a majority of them are now at this point. And when you go in there, I don't have to explain the brand to them. They already know it.
It's amazing. I'm excited for you guys, especially in Florida, to see. Of course, New York is like synonymous with Sirhan. You got that. You got the crazy listings. Did you get to go to any of those?
So I had dinner in the $250 million condo.
That's crazy.
131st floor, 1,440 feet above Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's so high you can't even hear the sirens or horns
No
or
way.
anything. It's sick.
How long was the elevator ride? 15?
So short.
Oh.
Like, I don't even know. I have a video of it.
Yeah.
It just counts by like the 20th floor. I think
just
at
zips?
a time. It zips. Like,
Oh,
your
nice.
ears are popping. You're, doing the whole thing like you're on a plane.
Yeah, but surreal up there.
Yeah, I mean, the views are insane. You
Yeah,
can see,
everyone's
like,
seen
I
it.
forget what it is. You can see like 6 states or something.
That's amazing.
You could pretty much see the curvature of the earth from there. It's wild. And it was the most beautiful night.
Wow.
We watched the sunset up there, then had dinner. It's like 17,000 square feet, 3 stories. So it's the highest residential condo in the world. So there's higher buildings, but there's not any condos that are that high.
It's got Dubai Beat.
It's got Dubai Beat as far as like a condo. So there's higher hotels, there's higher office buildings.
Yeah.
But
a condo.
Not a condo.
A resident. Wow.
Residence.
Yeah, wow.
So it's the highest residence in the world. And
That's
it was
crazy.
really cool to be up there.
That's
It's
amazing.
a trophy property. It's going to be a billionaire that buys it just to say that they have the tallest condo in the world.
Yeah.
And it was stunning.
Yeah,
And
I've seen it.
360-degree views.
That's amazing.
We were out on the terrace, having cocktail hour out on the terrace. So that was actually the first time that I did an event with Ryan.
That's amazing.
Was at that condo. So it's crazy. That place is sick.
Wow, that was the first event. You probably were just blown away.
That was the first actual, I think, was it the first time? It might have been the first time I met him.
Is that where you met Glenda?
Yeah, I met Glenda there.
Nice.
And then she was a guest for the mastermind for the whole weekend.
That's crazy.
And then I just kept in touch with her. And then I saw she was down here. She was coming back and forth because Tyler Whitman rented a place down here seasonally.
Nice.
She's really close friends with him.
Yeah.
And I would just reach out to her and I was like, "What's up? Let's get dinner." She
Yeah.
was like, "All right."
That's amazing. The network goes crazy there.
Yeah, it just
goes crazy.
The network is legit. We ran into a very famous actor the other day.
Yeah.
and Nick Gonzalez from the Matt and Nick team.
Yeah.
And he just got out of the car and he was like, hey, are you looking for houses down here? Like, what are you doing down here? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We're showing him $30 million houses this week.
Nice.
Off market because he recognized the name. They're like, hey, we're founding agents with Serhant out in Florida. And he was like, Serhant.
Yeah.
Like $1 million listings.
No
Oh,
doubt.
okay. Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah.
And Nick said, I respect your privacy, but we'd love to show you some off market stuff.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I'm looking, up to 30 million. And his personal assistant got a hold of Nick and Matt, and they're showing him houses this week.
crazy.
So it's just, it really does change the game as far as the brand recognition.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
He's worked hard for it, and
Man,
you guys.
you've never met like a guy that's more driven, and if you looked at his schedule, it'd make you dizzy. There's more colors and blocks.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's crazy.
He's a master with delegating to the right people.
Wow.
And time management.
Yeah.
And
He's got a course on it.
yeah, and it's just looking at his schedule. Well, I'm with his assistant in his office in New York like a few weeks ago.
What is that guy like?
Very calm. Will.
Yeah.
Very calm. Super. You think he'd be like neurotic
Yeah.
having to deal with that schedule, but
Yeah.
he's like cool as a cucumber.
Nice.
He deals with all the scheduling problems, everything. And he
So funny.
yeah, he's like, all right, well, we're going to do what date do you want the launch event?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can do it in July. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, good, because June is a mess.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's do July. And he
That
shows me the
calendar's
schedule,
crazy.
and I was just like, I can't even look at that thing.
Yeah.
But time management, delegating,
Yeah.
and I've always it's my hardest thing, right? Like it's my biggest fault is I try to do everything myself.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too much to do now. Building the offices and the brand, the business. It's got to pass things off to the right people.
Yeah. Well, with your schedule being so busy and being a part of a growing brand, I appreciate you taking the time today to spend a couple hours with us, and it's
It
been
was
a pleasure
awesome.
to have
No,
you on the
thank
show.
you. Thank you.